coal continues to be the predominant fuel for electricity generation worldwide and the main source of global energy supply. Coal generates today around 41% of the world's electricity, and while its growth has slowed over the last few years, predominantly due to the rise in natural gas, consumption is still expected to grow by around 0.5% per annum over the coming 20 years. The world coal market has been divided for a number of years into the Atlantic and Pacific regions, in particular because of the cost of bunker fuel compared with the cost of coal being transported. The Pacific region has been playing a more important role in the physical coal trade in recent years, with the growing importance of India and China on the demand side and Indonesia on the supply side. In parallel, the shale explosion in the oil and gas industries in the United States has had a fundamental impact on that region's coal market, and will continue to do so independently of the government's views as long as US natural gas prices remain extremely low. In this context, therefore, one of the key questions to ask is whether the Pacific and Atlantic regions are still divided. In two early studies, the first by Erquin and Douchin in 2006, described the hard coal markets, the Atlantic and Pacific regions respectively. Their report, while alluding to integration, didn't empirically test the hypothesis. Also in that year, Warrell examined whether the European and Japanese markets were integrated between 1980 and 2000, looking at both the steam and coking coal markets. For steam coal, he supported the hypothesis the market was integrated, and in order to test this integration over time, he also looked at the co-integration in two sub-periods, 1980s and 1990s, and concluded there could be no integration confirmed for 1990s. Jumping forward, Lai et al. In 2010 investigated the hypothesis of a single economic market for the international steam coal industry. Using multiple methods, they concluded that in general, the international steam coal market could be seen as integrated over that time period. Zacklin in 2012 added the logistics perspective and concluded there was significant yet incomplete integration. In 2013, Papiez and Schirmack used instead a causality method to investigate the international steam coal market. They were especially interested in the dependencies between different markets, and to this end they analysed the weekly export and import data from 7 key markets: Indonesia, Australia, Japan, Korea, Netherlands, South Africa and Colombia from 2002 to 2011. In their report they concluded that the most important factor in the Pacific market was Australian coal, whilst in the Atlantic market was Ara and Richards Bay. These results confirm the role of Australia and South Africa as being major producers in each region. The most recent work, and possibly the most interesting, was published late last year by Luau and Jaman, and it revisited the integration of the world coal markets, undertaking a statistical analysis of 10 industries in the 10 most important import-exporting countries. Surprisingly, their empirical tests showed that China does not belong to the global market. They indicate this was probably due to large production and national policies. Also interestingly, for the US, the principal component analysis shows a deviation from 8 other markets, whilst co-integration tests provide evidence of integration with 8 other markets. Their proposed explanation for this contradiction is the central location of the US between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and the existence of futures contracts on the US index. The PCA also shows that the 8 other markets are integrated as a global system. The separation between the traditional Atlantic and Pacific basins is visible in the PCA only when the less important third components are displayed. Co-integration tests lay some support for this conclusion, and there are several cross-regional co-integrated pairs, South Africa to India for example. We conclude therefore, as they did, that the multiple tests confirm that the global system is now integrated. They also argued that the major coal markets are moving eastwards, and provided 3 supporting pieces of evidence. Firstly, by reporting the remarkable reversal in 2015 of the lead-lag relationship between 6 pairs of major indices. Secondly, by analysing the dramatic demise of the 4 leading US coal miners as evidenced by their behaviour in the share prices from 2013-2016. Their collapse was partially due to the emissions reduction policy of the previous administration, but primarily due to the gigantic production of shale gas and the replacement of thermal coal by cheap natural gas in the production of electricity. The final piece of evidence was the use of actual and forecasts of coal consumption around the world. Southeastern Asian countries, including Malaysia, Thailand and Vietnam, are seen as growth markets for the consumption of imported thermal coal, as coal-fired electricity is used to fuel their fast-growing economies. 8 of the most populous countries are in Asia, and with 54% of the world's population now living in the continent, the growing demand for energy will inevitably be focused on this part of the world. As global coal markets continue to integrate, and as political, economic and environmental legislation continues to push the West away from coal, Asia will certainly be one of the key important markets for coal miners, shippers and generators in the years to come.